Hi, this is Britt Taylor, and welcome to the Not So Open House, September 2020 here for Digital Design 1. And I'm going to give you an overview of what goes on in this course and hopefully tell you where to find some things that your son or daughter get to see every day. And let's get it started. So what exactly are we doing here in Digital Design 1? This is a course where students are learning graphic design and desktop publishing. We use Adobe products, mostly InDesign, some Photoshop, some Illustrator, but we'll be using InDesign product or InDesign all year, and that's going to be something we test on at the end of the year. So how do I know what's going on? Let's open up the Ecampus page, and here you can see Digital Design 1, and this is the page where students come to every day, and usually they will click on the lesson plans part of it, so I'm going to click on Daily Plan. Although coursework also is the place where they can find their assignments, and I'm sure, as you've heard by now, calendar links to their personal calendar, and it's going to show them all the assignments, all the eCampus due dates across all their classes. Now, everything we do turn in is eCampus, so that's going to be basically anything graded comes through this portal. So let's open up the lesson plan, and you can see what we did today, and starts with grade check. They might open up Skyward on their computer. Since we're in a lab, we do have that ability, and we do that once in a while, make sure that everything's correct. And so just an example, if I do a presentation in class, we reviewed the meme assignment, high quality, super educational work, where students showed off some of their early InDesign skills by creating memes, getting an internet picture, creating some text, and turning the document into a PDF. So lots of good stuff, and again, a simple starting assignment. So we also link to our eCampus assignments. So here we have newspaper font fix. This is one where I gave a presentation on fonts today and talked about how to save fonts, how to download them, and they went through the process, and we're still in the middle of this one, but created some newspaper pages that were already pre-done. They really picked out new fonts using some of the websites that I included, and PDF'd it at the end to, again, work with fonts and font management and file management. A lot of our stuff at the beginning of the year deals with file management, saving things, exporting things correctly. So again, every day we're going to come to this Digital Design 1 Quarter 1 plan, and they are in reverse order. So the most recent week on top, and you can see that if you scroll down, and so the beginning of the year is going to be at the bottom. And again, I try to highlight things that are due, things that are on eCampus in yellow, and that's going to be the same thing that you see on the Digital Design 1 tab under coursework. And of course, you have the WebEx classroom link for those people at home on Connect, and all the links should be right there that you need. All right, and so if we look at what is next, so again, all of this is graded on eCampus. Notes, we're often going to take notes on design concepts, how to use software, and a lot of times that's a completion grade. If they take good notes, they get the credit. Classwork, a lot of times we'll be recreating elements on InDesign. They might be following an instructor, they might be following me, and basically how do you do this, and they put the pieces together while working on the software at their seat. So creation of projects, that's a bigger grades. There will be projects like we might do a create your own political sign. Political signs have some design rules, some pretty simple ones, but creating that on InDesign and finding the right font, using the right colors, hint, it's red, white, and blue, and doing all those things will be an example of maybe something would be a little bigger project and take a little more time. So quizzes and tests would basically follow the notes in classwork. And again, a lot of those will be, at least while we have social distancing and some at-home learning, a lot of those are going to be open note, and it's more analysis, writing about a certain piece that I might put there, and you write, like the last one we had, you write a couple of paragraphs about what design rules it follows and things like that. So when you're looking at grades, when you're looking at Skyward, when do you panic? if you see a blank, that just means I haven't put in the grade yet. Don't worry about it. If you see a 0, that's the time to worry a little bit. That means there was no credit. And that could be for a number of reasons. A lot of the early year 0s are for they probably turned in notes on a Google Doc and I can't access it. So it is something where the 0 is a little bit of a shock value, but it's just a reminder to, hey, click the link, let it be open to anybody from SCPS so I can open it, look at it, and give you the grade. All right, and that's, again, I'm pretty forgiving on that, especially at the beginning of the year. As we move on further in the year, if that takes a while, there's some lateness, there might be some points taken off. So homework is generally avoided in the class, only for makeup, only for things that may have been tough in class, maybe take us a little longer than we thought. And most of the time, I'm hoping that we can finish things in class, but there will be occasions where you take things home, I should say. And Adobe Access, Adobe software is something, the biggest silver lining for 2020 is that we have individual Adobe Access. Used to be you could only access it in the computer lab in this room, but now everybody has access to it, and something that we set up through the county. Basically, if you haven't done it yet, at home, go to adobe.com and you can sign in using your student ID. And there are a couple little steps to get through. Basically, you should not be paying for it. You should be entering in your student ID, and that should give you free access for the year. And again, that's about a $240 value, and that gives you everything from InDesign, Photoshop, Premiere, all the things we use here at school and more. So a lot of great software there for you to learn. All right, so go do it. So online resources that we're going to use, we have ACA Test Prep is going to be a big one. This one's coming probably next week. There will be online modules with lessons, notes, videos, projects. In most of these videos, you will follow along with an instructor, and you can do these at home, but it pairs with InDesign. And this is something that do what the instructor does. And my job, my role is to come around and help. People are going to be in different speeds and different paces, and that's okay. And there will be due dates, but I will come around and I will help people who need help, and I will give some instruction, but a lot of that will be individually propelled. So Certiport is going to be another one, the certification testing site, big grades to practice for eventually getting certified with InDesign. There'll be curves early on when we take these tests, but the InDesign certification at the end is what we are reaching for. All these things, these online resources, they're going to have login information for, and I strongly suggest using that school ID, that school email to do it. So how do I get the A? First things first, use the class time wisely, finish your work. If you're absent or behind, you need to make up work at home. And I would always start with anything that's ACA Test Prep. InDesign sometimes can be harder to do at home alone, and a lot of times you can bring that in to help with that in school. Study for your tests. We might do Kahoot, Quizlet, Quizzes, and we'll have ways to kind of prepare for those, and we'll always talk about those before those happen. Of course, avoiding absences. A lot of things we'll go over in class are hard. New concepts, not necessarily hard, but they're tricky the first time you do them, and it really helps to, of course, get that live instruction. So yeah, problems before school is probably tougher in 2020, but I'm usually here for 10 minutes before school. And after class, after school might be a little easier. And again, if you need some time, WebEx is also a possibility. Setting up some individual WebEx time could help too. Email is the best method to get me. And if you send an email to that address, most likely to, or we'll say more likely to email you back than to check my phone messages. I'm pretty quick on the email. Eventually I get there with the phone messages. So student needs, I think the biggest thing is to manage the storage. A lot of what we've done the first couple of weeks is where do I save things, getting organized online. So making the network saving spots look a little neater than maybe the room does. And so where do things go? Where do we store them? And just getting in that habit. A lot of times people have a flash drive for a little thumb drive for backup work for important things. And, you know, being able to use your Google Drive or your OneDrive, whatever process you use is important as well. Most people are using the Google Drive because everything we have in here is tied to Google Documents and things like that. And that is it. If you have any questions, please email me, questions or concerns. I look forward to seeing you all in person someday. All right. Thanks a lot.